Texting for real estate leads is pretty much getting banned. Pay per click is getting way too expensive, and you can't even hire pay per click companies anymore because they can't sell you leads. They have to disclose who they're selling the lead to. So they can't sell the lead to multiple people anymore. That law went in effect this year. So, with that being said, you can't text anymore. It's so much more expensive to do pay per click. What's the solution to this? And the solution is cold email. That is the solution to not being able to text, not be able to afford pay per click. The first problem with texting is everyone started doing texting. So it got super oversaturated. I own land here in Florida and I own a house here in Florida as well. And I get messages all day long asking to buy my property. And I'm just amazed on how many text messages I receive from wholesalers, and they're usually all the same text message or very similar text message, and they always have that basic opt-out option and everything. So it's everyone sending very similar text messages, and they're all going to the same seller. And it's funny, a lot of these people that own these properties are thinking, wow, my property is worth so much money because I have 20 people contacting me, 30 people contacting me to buy this property. When in reality, it's not that hot of a property, actually. It's just wholesalers are trying to make a minimum profit off of it because this piece of land I have is only worth like $15,000, and you can only make a few $1,000 off of it. You can't make hundreds and thousands of dollars off of this piece of land that I own. So one thing that I noticed is if everyone's doing the same thing and everyone's sending the same message with using text message, how can you stand out in the crowd when everyone's doing the same thing in wholesaling? And what I came to the conclusion is no one does emails. Name one wholesaler that does emails and succeeds with it. I don't hear of any other wholesalers or anybody in the real estate space that uses cold email to succeed. And when you pull list, you get the phone numbers and you get the emails. So why are you not hitting the emails? I think the situation is not a lot of people know how to do cold email, and they don't take the time to actually learn it, because it's so much easier to do text message blasting because you just buy a number and send it out. That number gets burned. You buy another one. It's like same thing. But with cold email, it's totally different because you have to buy domains, and then you have to buy email accounts under the domains. And then you have to warm up the emails and the domains to build credibility with Gmail, with Outlook. And then once you warm up that email for around 2 to 3 weeks, then you can start sending out the emails. So people don't want to wait that long, and people don't want to spend the money because you're buying a domain and you're paying monthly for each email domain, so it can get expensive quick. But if certain ways, it can be pretty cheap. And those ways I'll talk about in later videos as well. So make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will keep talking about those things. So I think that's one thing that people stay away from. And cold email really isn't talked about for B2C, business to consumer. It's more of business to business. So I think that's another reason people stay away from it. Another thing that I see with text messaging compared to email is when you send a text, you can't really build trust or show exactly who you are. It's more of, hey, I'm Michael with this Michael LLC, and I want to buy your property. So like with text message, there's no signature at the bottom. With email, you can build credibility with the email signature. So like mine says Cruz Greco, property manager, and then it says my company name, and then it says my address, and that builds credibility. You're showing that I'm a person, I have a company, and I have an address that you can go to and see. It can be an address for a P.O. box or something like that, but most likely they're not going to check that. And then you give them an opt-out option at the end. Another thing is you're sending from a domain that has a company name in it. So like my company's CF Investments. So I would buy, let's say I'm in Baltimore, I would buy CF Investments Baltimore. So when they get my email, it says from Cruz at cfinvestmentsbaltimore.com. It's not a random number. and it's not an at Gmail account, it's an actual company email address. It's if you get an email from Chase Bank, it's at Chase Bank. It's a legit email. These are legitimate emails. This isn't just Michael at gmail.com. It's not a random phone number. So that helps build credibility quick and fast because they know you're actually a legit person and you actually have a website and everything. Another thing with PPC is it's so many people are competing at PPC and it's getting so expensive. And another thing is now if you hired a PPC company before, they could sell the leads to multiple people, and now that's against the law and they can only sell it to one company that they say that they're going to sell it to. If your PPC company is not doing that, make sure to speak to them and ask them about this law because it went into effect the beginning of 2025. So make sure they're actually following the regulations as well. So that's another thing. And another thing that I see is if someone fills out that form, once again, you have 20 people calling them, asking questions and seeing if they want to sell. So once again, with email, there's no one really in the cold email space and you can really hit them hard. That's what happened with me. I got 37 deals in my first year doing it all with cold email. So it does work. I'm an example that it does work. Another thing that works really good with cold email is I'm in Florida and in Baltimore, and these places that have a lot of investors in it, it's a lot of people that are out of country investors. So when you're doing text message blasting, when you're doing cold calling, even sometimes with PPC, sometimes it's only for, you would put PPC, let's say you want to do PPC only in Florida. So you say only when people look it up in Florida, but you're not doing that for, let's say, Italy, Spain, stuff like that. So if they search it, it's most likely not going to come up for PPC. And then with text message and phone cold calling, it's for sure not going to go through because these people have Italian phone numbers. These people have Spain phone numbers. They have Colombian phone numbers, these investors. So you're not getting through to this specific type of clientele that you should be trying to go after. So with email, it all goes through. All emails go through to, it doesn't matter what country it is. So one thing I noticed, I'm hitting a lot of people that if you're doing texting or if you're doing cold calling, you're not reaching these people. So I'm reaching a demographic that a lot of people have never even touched because they're out of country and people aren't reaching them. So I think this is why cold email is going to save wholesaling. And I want to know your guys' opinion down below. I just dropped my first course, my free course. I'm not selling courses or anything about cold email, about how to set up the whole entire system. And I'm making more videos shortly on how to do more things with cold email. So make sure to watch that video. And I use Instantly. Once again, I'll have my Instantly link down below. If you want to start cold emailing, use Instantly. It is the best of the best.